That way Carol and Jerry have access to it.
Okay.
Right, and we just got the message that it's being recorded on Zoom.
Hey, Fred, John,
Fred, you've just joined us?
are you gonna be at the meeting?
Yes. Yeah,
Terrific. Okay, so I hereby call the meeting to order. It is 5:07, August 13th. Carol, will you please call roll?
I will indeed. Okay, so John Bishop. He's on mute, but he's here. I see his face. Steve Strauss,
Here.
Kelly,
I am here.
and Lisa. Here. Is Doriana's here yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Karen Aubrey,
Here.
Fred Harburg.
He'll be here in 5 minutes.
Okay, we'll count him present, and Catherine.
Here.
All right, we do have our quorum. And we also have a number of other people. We have Sam Gonzalez, Kimberly Gonzalez, Carla, Jerry. Am I missing anyone else who's in the room? Or
Tina.
on Zoom?
Tina.
Oh, Tina, so sorry. Yes, hi, Tina. I don't see you. You're not in the camera. Okay, and Tina is here. Wonderful.
There
Camera's over here.
Camera's over
Okay,
there.
I see you now.
There we go.
Okay, Steve, I think we're good to
All
go.
right. Wonderful,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Carol. So
Welcome.
first item is to approve the agenda. Are there any comments or corrections or amendments to the agenda?
Michelle.
Hold on, I'm just looking real quickly.
So,
We have something on the audit committee.
yes, I believe there's something there on the audit fiscal policy. Oh, there was.
It's down on topic number 12, the annual audit activities.
Okay, thanks.
Mhm.
Great. Well, Karen Aubrey, educated me, and that is I'm as chairman or president should not be making motions. I can vote according per the bylaws. So I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Okay,
Seconded.
so moved by Karen, seconded by Kelly.
May I suggest we add an item to number 12? And that's a audit committee update.
Well, I think
Uh,
that's covered under item C, isn't it? I mean, if you wanna change the language,
Okay, either way is fine. I'll just give an update to where we're at.
Yeah, activities assumes update. We can change it going forward, Lisa, but procedurally, I think that can cover it for today.
Okay, yeah, the business manager is gonna be reporting that, but I actually have some updates since I've been
sure,
working on
she
trying to get
can
that
hand the
done.
baton to you.
All right, wonderful.
So, all in favor of approving the agenda? Say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Carol, it appears that, I mean, we do have approval of the agenda.
Yeah, thank you.
Next item is to review the minutes of the last meeting and to vote on them. Do we have any, I see that this is the Rev 1 of the draft minutes. I know I had given you some feedback and I think you incorporated that, Carol, is that correct?
That's correct. Everything that was incorporated into revisions is highlighted in yellow.
Okay, terrific.
And that, yeah. Mhm.
Any comments? Anybody have any further edits, amendments? Well, in that case, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I so move.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, did you get that? Catherine moved, Karen seconded.
Okay. Perfect.
So all in favor, do we want to, as a matter of policy, do roll call votes on approval of documents or not?
No need.
No need. Okay.
No,
All right, thank you. So all in favor of approving the minutes as presented, say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed, say nay. Okay, Motion carries. The minutes have been approved. So, the next item is to discuss and vote on the resignation of board member Deyanira Contreras. I think I alerted all members in advance that she had sent me an email, which I, initially accepted. So, is there any discussion, any questions? Okay, then I will entertain a motion to accept her resignation.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Karen moves, Catherine seconds. All in favor of accepting Deyanira's resignation from the board?
I,
Aye. All opposed, say nay. All right. So Carol, we have a unanimous on that.
Right, thank you.
Thank you. Next item, my comments. I did not submit a written report, mostly because I didn't have a whole lot to say. So I did want to remind everybody about the October 19 retreat. And please, you guys put it on your calendar, and Jerry, you too. I think I sent you an email, Jerry. Second item is just to remind you to reach out to each other. I think we may owe the board members a contact list so they can reach out to each other. So Jerry, maybe we can work on that and get that out to, or maybe Carol, if you have something already prepared.
Right, yes, Steve, the roster that we've had, it keeps changing. Every time I update it, it changes. So I haven't sent it out, but I think we can do that after today's meeting, and I'll send it out with the minutes.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, with the draft minutes.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Carol.
Yeah,
And, and the objective, of course, is to get to know each other a little better outside of the context of the board meetings. You're going to talk, Tina, about August 6th, the evening event.
Sure.
Do you want to do that?
Sure.
Okay. I'll just say that Tina and Cheryl led a fabulous meeting with parents who came in to hear and learn about the school and to have meat burgers and vegetarian burgers. Interestingly enough, for those of you who were not there, the barbecue folk were all students of the master's program, and they did a great job. So thank you to that. So that's it for my report. We should vote. Need a motion to accept the president's report. It's not a written report, but
if
accept
it's
my
not a written
oral.
report, do we need to accept it?
Maybe not.
no,
Probably not. Okay, let's just
Just
move
let me
on
know.
then to item 6. So head of school has prepared a written report, her kind of overarching report, and a report that was provided by Tina and Cheryl as co-principals. Now, my question to the board is whether you had an opportunity to see, first of all, Carla's report, and then secondarily, the sub-report that was included by reference in Carla's report.
Yeah.
Did you all click on that? Did you have any questions?
Is she on with us?
Yes.
She got
Who's she?
connected? Carla.
Oh, she
Yeah,
was.
She's here. She's
She's-
here.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, she joined a little while ago.
Yeah.
Carla, did you have any further comments to make? Carla Moskowitz?
Is she on mute?
She cannot unmute, and we'll let her unmute. Can you unmute her? You can ask her to unmute. Allow to,
Maybe if I make her co-host.
see if that will give her the abilities. So Carla, we're gonna try making you co-host, see if that gives you godlike powers. It's locked.
Yeah, oh,
There you are. We can hear you.
okay.
Very
Yeah, I
good.
kept clicking on it and it kept telling me that the meeting was recorded. So I was wondering if it was on webinar or something. Anyway, I'm in the building. I'm just alphabetizing. So yes, there's a report. By the way, I linked in that report an introduction to Cheryl. I added a couple things in the last 15 minutes, 16 minutes, including the roster, the roster for the governing council members and contact information is posted in forms and other important information, which is a document that all of you can access whenever you want. So you can bookmark it and go in there and find all kinds of documents. And you can also find all of our contact information, including board members. And I do update it every time there is a new board member.
Right.
So you can use that or create a different one if you'd like. That's just,
Does
so,
Let me
yeah.
interrupt for a second, Carla. Does everybody know how to find that list of documents that,
No.
yeah?
So what you want to do is acquaint yourself with Google, and then there's something called a Google Drive, which you can click on, and that's, if you have a TMP email, you just sign into your email and then you get into the drive, and then it's all in there. And if you have any questions or you want me to do a tutorial on how to find it, I'm happy to do that. Just give me a phone call and I'll walk you through it.
Well, thank you for that, Carla. And Carla did educate me on that. I needed a little coaching. Thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty quick, and that's where we archive everything, and that's where I hyperlink all of the documents in my report, so you can see if you want to read more about any of the exciting things that I'm sharing. It's all in there. So, but ultimately, we started school and things are going well, and we got good enrollment for our budget. Our budget looks good. Spent a lot of time on payroll, and we're going to cross our fingers that we all get paid on Thursday, and I think that'll all be fine. So
Okay.
that's great. So,
Good,
we're good.
So we're looking at 270 students at this point?
No, I think we're budgeted for 250, and I think we're at 260.
260. Oh, okay.
It might go up from there, but
Great. Well, thank you. Tina, you included some very helpful information about testing, which I think if you could just give us a quick thumbnail on that, that would be helpful. Or whoever's, you or Cheryl, I'm not sure whose job it is.
I shared information with the governing council on what assessments our students will be taking, and I also shared a PowerPoint presentation that
Yeah.
Tracy Silva prepared for us that has to do with our data from last year. Typically, let's see, Karen. Chairs in our way. So typically, we test students 3 times a year. We do beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of the year, and then we use that data to inform our instruction, make decisions about what we need to hit, what we need to tutor, and where we need to extend. And the information, there's a lot of information in there, and I'm happy to sit down and go over it with you. But basically what it says is that as a school, we're doing really well. Our areas in need for improvement have to do with our English language learners and our students with disabilities. And we knew this was going to happen. And so in anticipation of that, we brought on someone that we recruited from the public education department as a teacher on staff who's pushing into classroom and helping support those English language learners. And then we have done extensive work with our special education department, and Cheryl can tell you more about that.
So there are a couple of different elements that we're trying to hit. Of course, we're in a charter renewal year, which you already know. And so we want to make sure that whatever we're looking at really is strategic and it's in line with all the different pieces that we are trying to get us to the next step in TMP. And the data that we have collected so far, including the testing data, has helped us start to align different pieces that were possibly out there in TMP land a couple of years ago, but they were not in a way that the staff could access in a fashion that would actually help them prepare for teaching and really looking at these different populations, such as ELL, which Tina was talking about, and then our special education population. Looking at our special education population and determining whether or not we've seen improvement or growth. And we really want to look for growth because growth is what's going to show us the different pieces of our students' disabilities matching with where they are in curriculum. And the curriculum that we're looking at for direct content areas are math, English language arts, language usage, so it's reading and language usage within the ELA, and science. So when you're looking at these different components, if you were to look at PED's website, and it's the Vistas profiling to determine what level of school we are in excellence. They do not show you the special education population's growth in percentage. It says that the population is too small for them to identify, for them to be able to put it on the website. So we have to really manage that in-house. We have to find and identify different tools that are actually going to give us information that's clear and specific to where we are going and our goals and our mission. And so right now, using NWA maps gives us interim types of testing. So beginning of year, middle of year, end of year. And we can look at very specific areas, and the results give us information where students and teachers can look at, oh, I am at this level just barely starting out with my skills. Oh, I have mastered these skills. Oh, I can go and move into the next level, and this is where I should be going. And so that helps all of our staff really look at what are our mission? What's it within our mission? What are we doing with our strategic plan? Where are we going in all of this? And so all of that data is coming and helping us guide each other, students and staff, to the next step.
Is that data stored, housed in PowerSchool? Is that what PowerSchool is?
So PowerSchool is the management system. You can enter testing data into PowerSchool and access it. There are different
What do we use though? What is your plan?
our plan right now is when you go into NWA, the teachers have access to look at all the students' scores, and they can go in there and they can determine what is the next step.
And NWA is the state, the PED's website?
NWA
No.
is it's its true owned site.
Oh,
for
and that's
the
housed
testing,
here.
for the
at that
assessment.
school. Okay,
It's an app. We can get into it. It's web-based.
sure. Okay, terrific. Yeah, that's.
But then, of course, it then gets, individual scores then get put into individual education plans. They go into 504 plans. So it is housed in-house when it starts to get distributed into different areas.
Got it. Yeah. Well, thank you. I know that Carla made it a very important project last year to get the school's arms around testing data and because Vistas is like 2 or 3 years behind usually, isn't it?
Right now, what they're posting is information from 22, 23.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what the world can see on the web.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for that, Cheryl.
What does NWA stand for?
I was just gonna talk about that. Northwest Educational Association MAP is the measurement of academic progress.
see.
It is a nationwide assessment tool that we can use. When we say nationwide, that means that states across the nation are accessing it and utilizing it. That does not mean that all states are involved in it.
I see.
Terrific, terrific.
So I have a question about the PowerPoint that shows the SAT results, the SAT results.
Yes.
And maybe it's just because I'm not in the education field, but it seems to me that if you have a SAT reading proficiency, if you're dropping, you're having a problem.
So here are a couple of things that have to do with the SAT assessment platform at the moment. Okay, so SAT changed its actual web testing platform. And so what we saw as a result of last year, you cannot compare equally with the results that were done the year before. And the reason why is because the platform has changed. So right now you're starting with new data and the way the approach is within the testing. The other part is you're not comparing the same group of kids. You're comparing different students because students who take the SAT are 11th graders, and then the next year it's 11th grade again, but it's not the same 11th graders. So you cannot determine whether or not there's been growth or if there's been losses because you don't know where they were when they first started, when they first came into TMP. What you only know is that you're comparing that 11th grade class had a certain percentage and this 11th grade has a certain percentage. So what you want to look at is growth. If when we're using the NWA maps, you get 3 samples every single year for that grade. So essentially last year's 9th graders, we'll be able to test them this year as 10th graders. And we'll be able to determine, was there growth? Are we moving the students forward in their learning and accelerating in their skills? Because it's the same group of kids. When you compare 2 different groups of kids at that same grade level, you're not determining whether or not they grew or if actually their scores went down.
Well, so the PowerPoint slides then on the SAT aren't very helpful in terms of evaluating growth. Is that what you're
It
saying?
I would say that it's all perspective. So if you look at it through one lens and we say in a snapshot right at this moment, this is where we are with that one group. Here's where they are. If you're comparing them, then you have to have all of those other pieces.
Well,
What it does help with, in a general sense, is we tend to talk as a nation with our SAT scores and saying, oh, what are your SAT scores? And it's just a very basic surface level. It doesn't have all those other components with it. So that's the only thing you can speak to. If you extend the conversation, then you can hit all the other points.
so I'm looking at the math SAT PowerPoint. It says math proficiency is 530. And it says in 23-24 proficiency was 16%. In 22-23 it was 30%. I don't think either of those numbers are
Useful.
very good, right?
Right. They seem very low. Yes.
And for English, for reading as well, it's better, 54% this year and compared to 67% last. I mean, and maybe this is just because the SAT is not really measuring what you want it to measure, but there
is
seems
not
to be a
giving
problem
us-
here.
It's not giving us data that helps us identify where we need to approach our teaching and support of our students. It only gives us a snapshot in time at that one moment for that group of students. And when the SAT
Excuse me, what document are you guys looking at?
I'm looking at the PowerPoint that Tina sent out.
Yeah,
Data,
there's just a lot of documents sent out. So if we could specify what they are, then those of us remote.
Sure.
will know.
it's Data Coaching the Master's Program by Nadine Torres.
I sent it out to everybody on the GC this morning. I forwarded. Thank you, Tina, for sending it to me. So check your email
For today.
for today. Yeah.
It's also linked to the head of school report, so you can just go right into the PowerPoint.
Very good. Yeah. So
Are
think
you-
about SAT as US News and World Reports, where you get to stand on a hilltop and pound your chest with pride because your school got a high SAT score. Says nothing about how good the school is, you know, how the school is educating its students.
correct. So their skills could have been in math at 3% to 16, but we would not know because of the way the test is administered.
That's why the NWEA map testing
Yeah.
is more important and more informative to us. Because we're looking at the same kids over time and
Yeah.
we can concretely identify exact skills that we need to work on with students.
And we can also compare that to other schools in the region to know how we're doing
Yes.
in the area. And actually those the proficiencies for math and English are pretty high compared to some of the other high schools
Those
around
are the
here.
ones published in the paper, right?
Yeah.
Right.
In
Yes.
the Newspaper.
So while 50% or whatever it is might not sound all that great regionally, actually it's pretty darn good. And that's why we've gotten the rating from
Yeah.
Vistas.
Yes.
So nationally, there's a huge conversation about SAT
Right.
and whether or not it should even be used because it is so poorly created and the metrics are not valid. They have been checked and they don't hold up. I mean, your characterization of it's like US News and World Report, you know, it's almost a popularity contest in some ways. Because it doesn't give you data that really tells you anything. And there was a period of time, sort of when I was supposed to be able to use it for admissions, when we wouldn't even look at it. Because it was so ineffective and when you held it up against other more reliable metrics about a student, it didn't hold water. You know, it really doesn't reflect. It's a broad brush, as you say, Kelly.
Yes.
You know, this broad brush versus that broad brush, but what educator's interested in broad
Yeah.
brush?
Yeah, I'm with the other problem. I mean, it's.
It's
the
not a,
profit- There's a profit motive behind the SAT tests. There's a big industry,
there's. a-
testing industry that makes a lot of money and lobbies heavily to get.
To keep
schools
it.
To adopt or retain. this-
We made it voluntary. And when we made it voluntary for admission, this is into medical school and nursing school at a very high levels. Over 80% of students
So
didn't.
so the school has chosen the SAT and the PSAT as its measure of success. The measure of success has made it a spotlight school, which people have touted as being a really important thing that the master's program is. So as the governing council, it's something to think about. Seriously, not in a board meeting, but just to think about the ways in which, as we move forward to renewal and going forward with our charter negotiation, what kind of assessments that you want. But right now, we have multiple assessments and we brought them in, but the SAT and the PSAT have given the school its reputation. And whether or not it's sustainable or not can be debated. I clearly didn't think it was sustainable, and that's why I brought in NWEA.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, as a board member, I want to do what's best for our students. You know, we're not looking to win accolades, we're looking to educate our students. And I think the accolades will come as a byproduct of educating our students. You know. Anyway,
There's
It's-
one additional piece to add to it, which is it is a component of the requirements for graduation.
the SAT test is,
That they must take the SAT.
And is
well,
that a state requirement or a school requirement?
State.
okay,
Really?
wow.
Wow, I didn't know.
There,
Yeah.
there is it went away and then it came back. So
When was it reviewed? Do you remember?
I couldn't say exactly.
Okay,
I'd be giving you
yeah,
a guess.
that's fine.
Well, terrific. Well, that's been very illuminating. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I know I was going to give you a moment to talk about, August 6th. We're kind of over our 5 minutes here. Maybe we can both report that we have 2 parents come forward during that, convocation, wanting to be on the board. So hopefully one of them will be, and I,
Okay.
connected them both with the PFCC. And hopefully one of
Good.
them will be appointed by the PFCC to represent the parents.
And
Yeah.
maybe also point out that the PFCC also got 17 parents interested in being on.
Yay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a very productive evening.
And we
But
need
your
we need a
pitch
parent
was-
representative.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I guess we just combined 5 and 6, or 6 and 7, it looks like here. I didn't realize that. So, item 8 is our item, oh, no, we don't have a student representative. And do we, oh, you have invited somebody to be that person? Has that person been identified, Tina?
So I think I sent a copy of the letter. We do have a new student representative. Her name is Portia Russell,
Okay.
and she, actually, she's in Freedom Ambassador meeting right now. So what's going on with Portia is she's gonna get some training from Sandy, your student
Sure.
representative from last year.
Yes,
On how Sandy went about talking to the students and getting input and how to make a report to the board. So she will be ready to rock and roll with you guys next month.
Oh, good, great.
oh, terrific. That's great. That's great. You know, that brings to mind, and John, feel free to chime in here if you want. But we were both members of the Rotary Club, Santa Fe Rotary Club, and at least one of the Marila participants came from TMP. And I know her last name is
I
Nguyen.
just saw her in the hall when I came in.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
And I gotta say, she came and presented to the Rotary Club and was articulate and compelling and made me proud of TMP. So anyway, and we will, of course, try to continue that relationship. RILA is a Rotary Youth Leadership Academy. I think it's what that stands for. So and it made sense that she was a product of the Freedom Ambassadors, which is all about leadership skills. So it was wonderful. Do we have a faculty and staff representative at this point?
I can report to the board that I have started recruiting on that position. Last year, it was shared between Dr. Seagraves and Kristen Pyle. And so we should also have a teacher representative.
Terrific. Thank you for that, Tina. Great.
Joel, did you get the late? You may also not get one. That's the latest report that I got from the faculty. So
Say that
there may
again.
not be a faculty rep.
Why?
There may not be one.
Why not?
I think that they're not feeling that it's something they want to do right now. That was what I just heard. So, but I don't know if it's mandatory that you have a faculty rep.
Well, it's desirable. I think it doesn't send a very happy message. You know, to say that.
Actually, the conversation I had tonight with one faculty member they're trying to recruit said that they're actually feeling like things are going so well that they're okay. It's very positive.
Well, I mean,
feel like
yeah, and I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah,
but
I was actually glad to hear it too. So no, I am just reporting that sounded good but I think that Tina may be able to recruit someone, but I think it's going to take a little bit of time because maybe I don't know. That was what I was told by the faculty.
You know, the board wants to hear what the faculty is thinking, and it's not that they're spies reporting on the head of school like that. It's we want to hear their perspective, you know. So I will continue.
Well, hopefully, maybe you can come in. Maybe board members can come in and talk to faculty and see if
that's
you
another
can recruit some.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Maybe we should.
That might.
And I think on that subject, let's extend that subject, Carl. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I think the notion of the board going to the faculty, we've encouraged board members individually to go and make an appointment, or Cheryl or Carla, and walk around the school, or just walk around the school. You know, just walk. It may be useful for the board to have maybe an annual, or in the fall and in the spring, a meeting with the faculty, a convocation of sorts with the faculty, and it could be a couple of board members, so we don't have to struggle with the Open Meetings Act rule.
How many faculty do we have? 30.
Faculty and staff, right? Yeah. Great. Well, we look forward to a prosperous and healthy relationship with faculty and staff. So, next item is a report on the charter renewal. Sam, I presume you were there a moment ago. We had quite a packet that we were asked to look at, and I actually tried to read through most of it last night. It's a lot of work, but I had a conversation with Sam this morning about the packet, and she wanted, and I'm waiting for her to come on here, but she wanted us to understand that there were a couple purposes in giving this packet to us now. It's not ready for delivery to PED. It was sort of a status report. She wanted to show the work that has been done so far and to invite board feedback. We had formed a charter renewal committee that was going to do as the governance and policy committee has done, and review documents and then make recommendations to the board. That committee has sort of gone by the wayside with Deyanira's resignation. She was chair. And so we don't have a charter renewal committee, and I think I heard your voice, Sam.
Yes, I'm here.
So I think you told me this morning, you didn't think that we necessarily needed to try to reconstitute that committee, but
I
rather,
don't think so at this time, no.
so anyway, you want to go ahead with your report?
Oh, sure. So, as of now, you have a draft of the complete renewal application for the master's program, parts B through E. And the ask, knowing that there were parts like, for example, there's a narrative in the financial packet that needs to be completed. Obviously, the part B is like not completely done, but this is just a draft to show you that there is substantial progress that has been made on the school's renewal application. Any feedback that you have between now and, before we submit is greatly appreciated. And really, it's the ask here is that you review, are hopefully pleased with the level of progress that has been made on the renewal application. And then what I'm asking for is essentially an approval of the application with the understanding that you grant me continued authority to work on the application. I ask for that because I don't want you to have to meet in special session once it's done. This was sent to you, I believe, like the first week of August, and the application isn't due until September 1. So there's still plenty of time to make revisions and improvements, but we would need to meet in a special session to approve it if it didn't happen tonight.
So
It'll be after, oh yeah, our next meeting is.
yeah, it would be. So essentially,
Mhm.
what Sam is asking for is, if you want to call it conditional approval or approval with the understanding that it's a work in progress and
Yes.
we can continue to contribute to it until it's delivered to PED September, or PEC, I guess, September 1.
So by
Mhm.
giving approval to continued work, we're not saying that we're completely,
No.
because I haven't
Right, exactly.
sufficiently reviewed it
Yeah.
to say,
Mhm.
but we're saying, go ahead and we
Right.
will review it and
Provide feedback.
provide feedback.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're saying.
So it's a conditional approval
Yeah.
based on our commitment to do a thorough review and get feedback to you, Chris,
Sam.
Sam.
right?
And by what day do you need the input from the board?
Well, the hope was today, but if we don't have the feedback today, then, it would need to be the application is due September 1. And so for me to incorporate feedback based on what the board is, reviewing, it would need to be, I would say within the next week to 10 days, so that I have enough time to incorporate all the comments. Pardon me?
No, my wife just called and I had silenced my phone, but that wasn't, she gets through, I guess. Anyway,
Saying
The
basically
other,
ASAP.
yes,
AS
ASAP. And I mean, yes, and if this is something that you would like to be ongoing, then my suggestion would be that I will transfer the documents into Google Docs instead of Microsoft Word, because that's the way I've sent the documents to you, because I can't see live feedback in Microsoft, but I can see it in Google Docs.
well, you can, except that you would have to make use of SharePoint. And then you could share the document
Yeah,
and
Google would
share.
just be easier.
You think
probably.
Google would be easier? Yeah, that is
I
something.
think it would just be easier to put in a Google Doc.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I have a question about how we got in the situation where we're holding Sam up. I was not aware. I mean, I didn't get
No.
the flag. You need to review this and give us feedback before tonight so we can make a decision. And how did we get there? Or did I just miss something in that regard? Which is very possible. So I'm not casting aspersion.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that we needed to.
Yeah, I don't know, Sam, I mean, we're very good about adding the document to the packet that Carol put out a week ago.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was part of the overall collection of documents
see.
that theoretically we would be looking at ahead of the meeting.
Then it was my miss, I guess.
And
Well,
I think it was actually, what, didn't you get it 2 weeks ahead of time? Isn't that right?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
It didn't go
No,
out.
you only got it a week ahead of time?
That's
Sam, when
correct.
did you send it to them?
I think I sent it 8 days ago.
Yeah.
Oh, it was 8 days ago? Okay. I just know that we had an early deadline, which I thought was, and I thought because when we talked about it, remember I had a moment where I thought you're submitting it to the state now. So we were running around and getting all of this data and make sure that we were going to get it in time. So
Yeah.
I think
Well, how
that,
about,
I
propose
think
a
we
date?
got it. I think the email, it was sent out on August 6th.
Yeah, a week ahead of time, which is what Carol's timeframe is.
Yeah.
okay.
Right, I sent it
Okay.
to I sent it to Carol on August 5th at 3:57 PM.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
I think she sent out the packet on August 6th, which makes sense.
I'm not, in asking the question, I'm not saying that someone didn't do what they needed to do. I'm saying I didn't do what I needed to do, I guess, in this situation. But it'd be really helpful as a process for us to say, send a clear
Cute,
message.
this is
to
Yeah.
important, get it
You've got to
done.
read this
Yeah.
Yeah.
before this meeting,
Yeah,
and I do it.
yeah.
I think I was looking at it with the mindset of, look at it and see if the things are moving
Yeah.
along as they should, rather than provide
Approve this.
feedback
Yeah.
tonight.
This
Well,
is it.
Sam, if we
Yes,
have.
that's really what I'm asking for, is just that you see that there is an application that exists. It's not blank document, it's not a blank document, right? There's over 15 pages in Part B.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're making more, like, we will continue, or I will continue to make progress to fine tune like all the formatting and to just make sure that it's as perfect as it can be. So really it's
also
just
I
like a
should tell you,
progress check for
I
all of you.
uploaded the
And if you
documents that
want
you
to provide,
emailed.
if you want to go through it and you want to provide feedback, okay, I'll.
Yeah.
The documents you emailed, I just want you to know that they're, oh, I know, they're in the head of school report and they're linked, and you click on them, they're already in Google Docs. So
Okay.
unless you made additional changes, Sam, they're already in there and people can look at them. I just wanted you to know that, that's all.
Okay, can we, Sam, would August
Thank you.
26th, would August 26th be too late for us to get our comments back to you? That would give you the entire work week, or let's say, the 25th, Sunday, the 25th.
Sure. I would like to put the documents into Google Docs because I'm going to continue to work. I can't
Sure.
wait until the
No, I understand
25th to continue to work. And so I'm going to put things in Google Docs for everyone. How about that? And then from there, I can continue to work. And then if you open it and want to, make comments or whatever it is, then that's completely fine.
Yeah, but I'm thinking you probably, the last few days of the month, you probably don't want people mucking with your documents.
No.
So let's give us a deadline, give us a deadline, please.
Sure. How about the 20th or the 23rd? How about
Okay.
Friday the 23rd? Does that
later.
work? And that gives me a week?
Yeah, the
That's
latest,
the latest
that we can get
deadline
her
drop
feedback.
dead. It
Yeah.
should be before.
Yeah.
the 23rd of August,
She
Friday.
said the 20th.
Well,
The 23rd of August.
She corrected
Okay.
herself.
Well, I took it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. That's a wonderful compromise. Thank you for that.
Yes, of course.
Is there anything in particular you want us to look at? Or just you're giving us tabula rasa, we have at it and, comment as we will. Okay. Guess that we're done.
Yes, I feel like you can just comment as you will. Part B is the robust narrative. And so, take a look at that. The rest of it, Part C is the financial statement, which Axiom will, has extracted all those numbers from OBMS. So that I think is just what it is. Part D, you don't really need to look at. It is just affidavit affidavits signed by head of school to ensure that we completed our petitions. And then part E is facilities documents. So I would really just focus my attention on part B.
Perfect. Thank you for that.
You bet.
Okay.
So then
So-
do we need a vote for conditional approval?
I mean, you have a vote in the agenda.
we do, so we should. No. Somebody needs to make a motion. Please.
I move we conditionally approve the charter renewal work in progress
And can we add to that with comments due
on August
on or before
23rd.
August 23rd?
On or before.
Right.
Perfect.
I will second.
Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah. Carol, did you capture the wording there?
She's nodding.
Okay, she's nodding. Okay,
Yeah.
great. All in favor?
Aye.
The motion.
Aye.
Aye.
Do we have a second, please?
Yes,
from-
we do.
Kelly.
Catherine. Oh, Kelly, I'm sorry. Yes, so I think we got ayes. Do we have any nays? Great, so the motion carries unanimously, Carol.
All right, thank you.
Thanks to all of you. The next item on the agenda is the Open Meetings Act resolution. This is a document, a resolution we need to approve annually. It basically attests to the fact that we are aware that we are governed by the Open Meetings Act. We're a public body and our meetings have to follow certain rules. The document was provided by our counsel, Dan Hill, and the Governance and Policy Committee looked at it, but deferred back to the council. So we have essentially have the council's recommendation that we approve this. I did want to make a couple of comments. Dan, are you on the call yet?
Dan is not on the call, but I am in communication with him if you need me to ask him anything.
Well, this is something I forgot to mention during my little spiel, is that we want to consider possibly changing the meeting date, pushing it back 1 week. And I know that this resolution specifies that we meet on the second Tuesday of each month.
Right.
Is that a problem if we subsequently change our meeting date to the third Tuesday of the month?
Well, you would need to revise your OMA resolution. So my suggestion is to perhaps postpone the vote on your OMA resolution until you have solidified the occurrence of when you'll meet.
Okay.
Why do you want to?
Because one of the big challenges we have is
She'll tell you.
we don't, is the finance, we get a lot of documents and a lot of information. And so we need time to have time other than, a few days to go through everything, to make sure we can review everything.
Lisa, do you tend to get it the first week? Is that when the finance information comes?
The
Yeah,
problem
we get it
is
the Friday before this meeting.
Friday before this meeting, and the reason for that is month close. And if you think about when
Yeah.
you get your bank statements,
Yeah.
it's usually on the third or fourth day of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Worst case scenario, the second Tuesday could be the 8th of the month. And so we don't get these documents until Saturday or Sunday before the meeting, and it's a big thick packet.
Yeah.
So we had a meeting last Friday in which with Axiom and the head of school and Lisa wasn't there, but I raised the subject. Should we ask the board if they'd be willing to meet a week later? And that
On
was
the third Tuesday.
on the third Tuesday. So that would,
Fine.
Yeah.
with me.
So the other point, Steve, is if you've asked us to submit reports 2 weeks ahead, and if we don't have our meetings until the week before, there's no way I can do that.
no, it's not, yeah, that's the
So
point.
can we just make that decision that we want to go through whatever motions we have to go through to get it approved?
Yeah, I
that
think,
we
right.
Agreed to go the third
Well,
Tuesday.
let me ask Carol, actually governance committee, it's not in the bylaws. The meeting date is not in the bylaws, is it?
I don't know,
You're looking
the
to check.
bylaws are a little hard to find.
Yeah. Well,
It
that's
should
gonna
be in the bylaws.
And you would have to have a separate vote to amend the bylaws.
Right, absolutely. That's why I was asking if it's in the bylaws. I think we're gonna have to table but I wanted to raise the concept. Let me get just a sense of what the board feels without making an official vote.
Yeah.
Who would not be willing to move it to the third? Does anybody have any problem with that? I know I talked to Doriana, so I don't know if oh yeah, Doriana, you're on the call. How do you feel, Doriana? So I think you and I talked about this, so you're okay with Tuesday?
Yes, that works for me.
So,
Is that
all right.
right? Wow.
Yeah, we're gonna do it.
Holy smoke.
Oh my God, look at that. Yeah, well, I didn't bring Reed back. I didn't
Well,
get,
we'll all swear
It'll be
that.
here for 10 minutes and gone.
how's that?
It'll be gone in 10.
It'll be, I know. It'll be,
Of course, I don't.
But the sun is shining up there.
well, go to your car to get your umbrella, Kelly.
Yeah,
All right.
it
Well, if
blew
I
in
get
and
a
out where
garage-
I live. I couldn't hear you. I mean, I couldn't hear it, but it's quick. It'll take
Yeah.
about 10 minutes.
Beautiful. Okay, so it's up. Oh, yeah.
I found the bylaws.
Oh, terrific.
It doesn't say when the meeting.
Okay,
So we can just do it.
so
It says we pass a resolution annually describing the notice of public meeting,
that's this.
but it doesn't, there's no.
All
Doesn't
right.
specify what.
There's
There's no
Second.
second.
Okay, well, and maybe the way to do this then is to, can we actually, Sam, just approve this OMA with the new date? And just approve it with the amendment to change to the third Tuesday? Sam, are you there? Legal counsel, stand in?
Hi, yes, I'm here. I'm sorry, I was just talking to Dan, and
Oh.
so I do have a report out, I think, to help make everything a little more clear. So in terms of changing your meeting time, he suggests that you do it next month. So you will need to update your bylaws, but that's okay. You can do that, like you can just put it all on the agenda, the bylaws and the updated OMA resolution for next month. But that doesn't mean that you can also meet, like if you want to start meeting on the third Tuesday of the month, you can just notice the meeting next month, 72 hours in advance of when the meeting will be, right? So whatever that Tuesday is. So you
Well,
really
by
can
the way,
proceed.
I just wanted, you made a statement I wanted to correct. Karen
Oh, sure.
just consulted the bylaws. The bylaws do not specify a meeting date, so we don't have to.
Oh, okay.
So the
Oh,
only
well,
thing
that's
we really
great.
have to change is the OMA. So my question is, should we go ahead and approve the OMA with that correction?
Tonight,
Right now?
Yes.
now.
Well,
Can
then
we-
you can, yes, you can do that.
All right, let's do that then.
Let's do that.
All right, so will
One
somebody
quick
make?
Question
Yes.
though, so is there information on the web page or something like that that we would have to change?
We'll fix that. Yeah, we'll
Okay.
fix that.
Yes, you'll have to update the website.
Have a month and a week to fix that.
That's
Yeah.
right. So, all right, so I would need a motion to approve the OMA with change to, let me see, it looks like paragraph 2 from the second Tuesday of each month to the third Tuesday each
And
month.
that is effective
Next,
next month. So effective, I'm just looking at my calendar, 9,
Effective immediately.
24.
Yeah, well, it's effective immediately.
okay.
I so moved.
Except you're not gonna meet next week.
No, we're not that, no, yeah.
I second.
All right, so we have a motion to accept the OMA resolution with one modification, and that is to paragraph 2, changing our meeting date from the second Tuesday of the month to the third Tuesday of the month.
So moved.
So moved,
Second.
second.
So
All right.
I'm sorry, who made the motion in the second, please?
Catherine made the motion. And Karen seconded.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
I,
All opposed, say nay. All right, the motion carries unanimously, Carol.
Thank you.
So the resolution is approved.
Yes, provisionally approved, right?
Well, with the modification.
Oh, with the modification.
It's not provisional at all. It's
Okay,
approved.
approved with modification. Thank you.
We will update that and send it over to you, okay?
Perfect, thank you. All right. So we have the other Ms. Gonzalez. Kimberly, are you? There you are. You ready to roll? You're still muted.
Yes.
Oh, there we
Hello,
go.
everyone.
Terrific. Terrific. So please go ahead with your report of the business manager.
Great. So as per the agenda, the end of year FY24 reports are the first 23 pages of the financial packet. This information comes directly out of the public school operating budget management system, which is known as OBMS. This is what we use to report to PED all of our numbers. So we have, this breaks down every single fund and job code, everything from salaries, to benefits, to funds, to payroll liabilities. So it breaks down where we ended for the year. If you want to just look at the budget balance, that's what was the remaining for the fiscal year. We did fairly well ending the fiscal year with carryover, which left the school in a really good position.
Do you want to share your, oh, I mean, we have to make her co-host so she can
Oh,
share.
yeah, I
sorry.
couldn't share, sorry.
Yeah, don't be shy to speak up if we're not
Okay.
giving you the tools you need.
What was the?
Sorry, what page is the balance on? I'm looking at the financial packet, but it's big. And
Yeah,
I,
there's
the last
balances,
page, right?
yes, there's balances for the end of each fund. So you have to go through every page. We highlighted a few for you to reference for like operational support services, food support services. So we did highlight the ones that we felt that you'd probably be more likely to want to see. We did a bank reconciliation, which balanced, and we actually ended up with a little bit more money than in July 2024, which was about 60,000 more than anticipated. We did have 323,000 in deposits that were primarily from end of year requests for reimbursements that came from SEG. What else is this? ESSER and SB9 money. Then we have the check list, the check register, which primarily the bigger expenses that you'll see on this are payroll liabilities, which are NIPSIA risk, as well as ERB payments. So they're really, for the treasurer's report, aren't any purchases over 20,000 because these didn't require a purchase order. These were actual payroll liabilities.
Maybe you could hit the the big numbers here. NMIPS top line 21,000. That's for the health benefits, right? For faculty and staff.
Well, there's two NIPSIA. There's two NIPSIAs. Good question, Steve. One is for risk and one is for the benefits.
Yep.
So that's why you will see there is two numbers for NIPSIA. The 45,000 is for insurance premiums for employees, and the 21 is for the risk insurance for the building.
The other way around, I think.
wait, yeah, it's the other way around based on this.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because yeah, the NIPSIA risk did increase if we look at the FY25 budget forecast, and that's why we do have under expenses a $23,000 difference.
Yeah, the NIPSIA risk check was for $45,714. Is that correct? Just to make sure.
Yes.
Okay.
When we speak of risk, are we talking, is this liability? Is that, what does risk mean?
Risk under NIPSIA is like any kind of liability on like property, on the property, as well as there is some legal coverage, but it's not oh, it's not like a whole lot of legal coverage, but it's the liability of the school.
Okay.
Because the school does have other liability insurance through POMS. So POMS covers like accidents and like big stuff that happens like on campus.
And that we do have, insurance,
We do have,
DNO,
yeah.
yeah, it's separate from this. Is that also through NMIPSIA, Directors and Officers Insurance? For the board?
I'll have to double check with the NIPSIA bill.
Okay.
Every bill is different, so I'd have to double check and really see who you guys go through, because that might go through POMS also. So
Okay.
I'd have to double check and see what company they use. So for the revenue, there were a few adjustments needed. There was $15,000 deposited that we need to just code correctly. And then there's a federal adjustment for federal carryover that was made. That you'll see those adjustments on the sheet. But overall, we ended with a strong fund balance, and we have connected with Wells Fargo on investment options. Katie Rarick is looking into that to see how we could look at investing some of the money in a short-term range for the fund balance that we do have, which is pretty strong.
And
What is the fund balance? Is it
thank you. It's
60,000?
close to $4 million in the bank.
Close to 4 million, about 3.9.
Yeah. And this is, I thank you very much for that. I know this has been kind of a slow process moving forward with that. John actually, back in December, I think it was, at a meeting suggested we.
Excuse me, where is the cash balance? This was, since I wasn't able to join Friday, because I had a doctor's appointment, when I tried to find it.
Where's the $4 million?
Well,
If you look on the bank reconciliation, where we ended, I think, I don't know if you guys can see that. Are you guys seeing my?
Yeah,
I'm passing the document around here. Yeah.
Okay.
well, yeah, I'm looking, I'm not there, but I'm just curious if, 'cause I'm just trying to get familiar with where things are. Because it's a lot of information and, before I knew where to look for things, you know what I mean? And I did spend some time looking at it, but didn't see that. Oh, is it the end funding balance? Is that our cash?
Look at the bank rec.
Look at the bank rec.
It's actually dated June 30th, so it's the end of last fiscal year. But it gives you a pretty good idea.
Oh, I see it. Okay, thanks.
3.8.
I'll just highlight it so I know for next.
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to just take a minute, Kimberly, to point out that the SEG number of 285,000, that is calculated based on our estimate of an enrollment of 250 students.
60.
And we're now
Right.
16.
So
Yeah,
at
so
40
that
at
will-
40 day, they'll do a reassessment and see where you guys are. And then come October is when they'll make the adjustment. So if you guys are already at, I believe, 260, Carla said,
Right.
that adjustment, as long as you maintain that, and even if it goes up, you'll see that could go up in August. I'm sorry, October. So again, this is just a forecast. So that number can very well change come October.
The SEG stands for.
Oh, what is the acronym stand?
State Equalization Guarantee.
So, and that's about 13,000 per student, I think I
Yeah.
looked, yeah. So that's why I want us to recruit more students, because they're worth money.
Well, you guys have a wait list, I believe, so you guys could start there.
Right,
They're worth a lot more than money.
they are, yes.
They are.
Totally.
So the overall cash is projected to increase throughout the year. And then you'll notice here's like a cash flow diagram that we do use. And you'll see a difference and a drop in the cash flow come June. And the reason for that is we run 4 payrolls in June. So that way the teachers have summer pay, and then we end the books at the end of the year clean and then start off 7/1 fresh. Right now we have audit field work occurring, so we've been busy pulling samples for the auditors. I've been working on the Public School Facility Authority, the lease payment application, lease payment assistant application, which I will be submitting this evening. So you will be receiving a document from me in box for your signature. That will go to all of you, which is a form for a conflict of interest that the board has to sign, and it's you'll see it's all part of the application process and the questions that are attached, and it's just stating that there is a conflict of interest policy at the school, and it is just asking that there's no conflict of interest of any of the board members with the lease purchase assistance with the community college.
I have a
Thank you
question.
Can I,
for
Kimberly,
signing.
since I'm an
Yeah.
employee of SFCC, would that count as a conflict of interest for the lease agreement?
No, you don't have a monetary interest, I don't believe, do you?
No.
He owns the school.
I thought, I thought you were getting.
You own the
kicked-
building,
I thought you were
Kelly.
No, no personal benefit.
Are you receive? Yeah, I don't think you're, I think you're okay.
Okay.
I have a quick question. When I reviewed the financial packet, where will the bars be located and where will I be able to find purchase orders? Well, where will we be able to find purchase orders that need approval over $20,000?
So for the bars, that needs to be on the agenda for us, let's see, for you to review and approve.
Correct, but I
It
need to know what they are.
Okay, we
I
didn't
don't-
have any,
I-
well, we didn't have any bars, that's why
No,
there's
no, I
not any.
know, but what I'd like to request is that we have a section in there for bars. And if there are none, then we say none. Does that make sense? And the same for,
Yes,
yeah, POs over $20,000, anything that, because before that's how, you know,
Yeah, we
But-
talked
Right.
about, this, Lisa, I'm sorry, when you were at the doctor's.
oh, okay.
That there
Yeah,
are.
but anyway, I think it'd be helpful just to have a standing,
Yeah,
you know, like we do, you know, in the packet. So that way,
well, you're gonna probably, I can imagine Kimberly will produce the packet and will organize it such that, you know, documents are in the same order from month to month. So
Right.
that, so
Yeah,
that
I just-
all of us will be able to look for the bars on, you know,
Yeah,
as
you-
the third document and.
it's helpful to be in one place. And not to have to look, because I spent a good 30 minutes trying to locate that information in this packet.
Yeah, and it's not there.
And I wasn't able to find anything for either of them.
Yeah, it's hard to find something that isn't there.
Right.
right,
So
and
anyway, just
there wasn't
something
any
to
bars.
reference.
And there wasn't any purchase orders over 20,000. The expenses that occurred over 20,000 were all payroll liabilities. So that's why you didn't have those items in the packet.
Yeah, but yeah, we usually approve them ahead.
Yeah, so,
that's
so a
why.
suggestion,
Sure.
Kimberly, is if there are no bars, just put a placeholder in there saying no bars this month.
Right. And if there aren't gonna be any purchase orders that, you know, over $20,000 that will be, need to approve, just put a placeholder in there and state that.
Yeah.
Right, because we usually approve them before the purchase orders come through.
That's right, the
We're asked
finance,
to approve them.
finance committee, during the finance committee
During the
meeting,
finance committee, right?
right?
Yes, I'm just requesting that just because I think it's easier since, I mean, just because.
Terrific,
We have to report on it, I mean.
good. Are we, Kimberly, let's see, you've done the 25 budget update, status from PED. And you reported on annual audit activities, and I know Lisa wanted to make a few comments about the audit committee.
I think there was a standings, I did notice later in, agenda item. 14, it looks like there's committee report, so I can just do it there.
Okay, fair enough. So are we, Kimberly, is
Yep,
that?
that's all we got.
Vote, okay. Let's vote to accept the report of the business manager and
I
ask
will
for a motion.
move to accept the report of the business manager.
So Kelly moved and Fred seconded. Motion to accept the report of the business manager. All in favor, say aye.
I,
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously, Carol. The next item, item 13, is report of the treasurer. And we've sort of gotten most of that out already as part of the previous item. There are no, you know, I guess there were no July disbursements, Kimberly? Is that correct? That doesn't sound right. Were there July disbursements that we need to approve?
No, not anything over 20,000. Anything that we paid was in the register.
That's
and-
purchase orders, disbursements are different.
Well,
Actually, it's all of this stuff, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's in the register,
Yeah,
right? Yeah. that we
everything's in
looked
the
at.
register. Yeah, everything's in the check register. Those are the disbursements.
Right. So I think we actually, as a matter of policy, Kimberly, I think we do need to vote to approve. You've presented the data, so we, at this point, need to vote to approve it.
Can I ask you a question? I mean, they've already been dispersed, right? The expenses have been incurred, so shouldn't we be not doing it retroactively, but proactively?
I think it's a recognition, Lisa, of the.
Oh, okay.
And
Just that we
so,
reviewed them?
and we're kind of getting used to the order of things here. And perhaps Kimberly, to be consistent with the way we've done it in the past, is to hold the check register out until the treasurer's report and let the treasurer report on disbursements. And then we can vote. It's not a big deal, but that's what we've done in the past. So, so I will entertain a motion to approve the July disbursements.
So move.
So Catherine moves.
A second.
Steve, on the agenda, we didn't do June last time. They were combined. So what
Oh,
we're actually doing is June and July.
okay. I saw that and I didn't. Yeah, do we have June data, Kimberly?
Sorry, Steve, my connection is pretty bad. It's raining where I'm at, so I got disconnected for a minute. I did not hear what you said.
Do we have June disbursements before us to review and approve? Because apparently Carol was saying we did not have the data in at the last meeting and therefore did not approve the disbursements.
For the June disbursements, those were out of APTA, so I do not have those. I'm just giving you what we have off of our system for Mineral Tree. So the big report that we gave to you at the beginning, which is all the disbursements from end of fiscal year, that captures all of the fiscal year activities for 24.
Through June.
Through June.
June disbursements were.
Through June.
On the July audit.
And I think we didn't approve them because we didn't have them at that point for the same.
Correct.
same
It was
reason.
tabled.
It was tabled, yeah. Okay, so I guess we're deviating slightly from the format, but so we're saying that the June disbursements are not called out specifically, but they are, of course, included in the fourth quarter
Annual.
and end of year report.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna suggest that we have moved it to accept accept this, well, accept them through this report at this point. Unless there are objections. What do you think, Lisa,
Can we
Madam
include that
Treasurer?
in the
Yeah, no, I
July?
second that.
Okay, well, it was,
I made a friendly amendment to the motion that we will accept the data provided with,
as a substitute for the,
with June being included in the annual year-end information and July included in today's discussion. So the motion is for June and July to accept.
very good.
Second.
Yes, approved.
Okay, so we've got a motion by Catherine,
Second,
a
whatever
second
that.
by, second by Karen and Lisa. All in favor, please say aye.
I,
All opposed? Wonderful. Motion carries unanimously.
I just have a question,
Uh-huh.
Kimberly. So Axiom is in the disbursements twice for $13,991. So there's,
Seriously?
why is it in 724 and 71? Are those different? Or is that the same disbursement?
It's a good question. I didn't even see that. Kimberly, did you hear the question?
So
I did. Let me look at the statement one more, at the packet one more time. Give me just a second, because I'd already closed out of that.
again for the same 14
Oh, what was it, 14?
or 13.
13,991, right up.
Is that on the check register?
Yeah, I think there's a top
Real
section
quick.
and a bottom section, and I think, are you referring to the?
Yeah, I think that is, it's the same charge. I just think that it's put on there differently. Give me a second.
Yeah, because it has the,
Different payment dates.
2 different dates.
Yeah, different payment dates.
And
Oh.
one has an invoice number and the other one doesn't.
Let me see what that is.
oh, I see, one has a payment date of 7/1 and the other has one of 7/5,
724.
24.
7/24 rather.
Yeah.
Give me
I'm
just
sorry,
a
I-
second.
Don't mean to be a pain.
No, that's exactly what we're supposed to do, Fred. And maybe it's 2 months. We got, the July 1 was for the month of July and July.
It might have been
for
because
August.
of the transition from K-12. So I'm just gonna go into the system real quick and where that is.
changes. Moving from one time to another.
Budget adjustment.
You're smart to do.
Budget adjustment request.
I cut down half a tree.
Acquisition.
I decided not to cut down the tree.
Looks like the same thing for the NMPSI of risk, because there's one payment on 7/24 and the other on 7/1.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, you're right. Oh, well, both the payments to NMPSI are repeated.
And the same with Rocky Mountain Business Systems.
General funds.
Wasn't that when there was
14,000.
from Kansas?
127. Those are recurring monthly, so maybe it's just the timing of it since we're transitioning.
Yes. the-
Well, I don't
That's what
think the 45,000 is not recurring. That's a once a year.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it has two.
Yeah, that would be a big chunk if it were recurring.
Sorry, I'm trying to get the document back up and I lost it.
Well, while you're doing that, there are no bars to approve of, and there's no POs over 20,000. Item 13B, the fiscal policy document. We deferred that from last meeting. Lisa, you're working with Margaret and Kimberly on that document?
Sorry, I thought I was on mute. So I have not received any feedback from anybody the last status we had was Margaret was gonna incorporate her suggested revisions,
Okay,
and I haven't seen.
can we
anything.
maybe get a date, a delivery date from Margaret, for Margaret?
I will report to you, was on a previously scheduled vacation
Yeah.
last week, and she just returned today, so we can certainly touch base with her tomorrow.
Okay. Did you hear Tina? Lisa?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
Okay.
so I knew she was going out, and before that she was stressed, but, I mean, you know, she had a lot on her plate, and
Sure.
so, that's,
Well, the
Yeah.
goal of this document in part is to make her job easier. Because it'll document all the procedures that everybody has to follow. Everybody who interfaces with her, and she doesn't have to bend if it's not allowed in the procedures and, you know. Delivery
What's her
dates,
roadmap?
lead times, all that kind of stuff.
I noticed this, another thing, back to the check register, the NMPSIA benefits. Is that supposed to be annual or not?
That's monthly, I think.
That one's
That's
monthly,
monthly.
it's just the risk is annual?
Yeah, that's a payroll benefit.
Perfect, okay, good.
Yeah, they're
Never mind.
payroll liabilities, so those will be, you're gonna see those every month.
Yeah, one was 7.5 and one was on 7.1. That's why.
Well, we'll let you keep working on that, Kimberly, and then
No,
you,
I'm actually in the actual financial database, and in here, I'm only showing the 13,991.25 once.
okay.
So I'm wondering if this is an error, and I'm happy to share my screen with you guys. I'm wondering if this is just an error in I'm sharing the wrong screen.
The reporting. So the tool.
And the
you're using is called-
reporting.
Yeah, the tool is mineral.
So this,
Is that what it is?
yeah, I'm gonna share it with you guys now. Give me just a second.
What is the source of the information on this document that we have?
Mineral, I think it's this product, Mineral Tree, the application of Mineral
Just
Tree,
looking up now.
and she's in it now, and and the report was generated by Mineral Tree, and maybe I don't know, criteria were not specified correctly, or.
But the risk invoice is doubled also.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of duplications. The interesting thing is that they have different.
Oh, there's the payment sources platform and resource, or the resources platform in Wells Fargo. So I'm not really sure what the platform is, but I know that they're like it's an ACH. So when I go into Axiom,
Yeah, it could be, these are definitely duplicate entries, and.
it shows right here that we have a $13,000. I don't show one for 7.1.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's on that,
And it's oh, there's a software fee. That's what this is, the 13,000.
Oh, it's not Axiom Analytics then.
It is, but it's what the school pays to use Mineral Tree and Trequel. So that's what the 13,000 is for.
but there's two of them for 13,991.
So the other one, I don't know what the other one is for because I don't see that in here.
So yeah, if you go look at the bank reconciliation, that's in the report, and we can do it offline.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
suggest
sure.
that, why don't we, yeah, if you guys, sounds like it's take a little more work. So
Yeah,
Kimberly, if you could, figure that out and maybe just, email us an update.
Yeah, these are really good questions to have during the finance committee meeting. So we're not going through this during a governing council
Exactly.
meeting.
Yep. Thank you. Okay, circling back just for one last second to the fiscal policy document, then, Lisa, you'll work with.
if we need to go through these before the finance committee, can we request that we get them earlier than 2 hours before the meeting, so we have
Yeah,
time to review them.
Lisa, that's why we moved the meeting date for the board back a whole week to allow time for that to happen.
I know, but are we gonna get any advance? Is the packet gonna be sent out the morning of the meeting?
No,
Or
no,
is it gonna
no,
be
no,
sent
no.
out ahead of time?
No, that doesn't
Not the
make,
governance, the finance committee meeting.
the finance committee meeting we'll meet at the same time, which whatever it is, this
Correct, but if we
Friday,
need to
but
ask
it'll
all the
be 10
questions
days.
during that meeting, my request is that we get it. We get this report.
Before the meeting.
Yeah, not an hour or two before the meeting, but we have time to digest.
I got it. I understand. Let me make the following suggestion. You coordinate with Kimberly when we should get the documents, because you're the chair of the finance committee. Please do that with Kimberly. And remember that Kelly and I are also on the finance committee, so we'd like the documents in advance as well. So if you could, the two of you work together to schedule the receipt of those documents and the meeting, finance committee meeting, which can, from my standpoint, still be a Friday at 10 o'clock or, yeah. But I'll leave that to the two of you to sort out and let us know. All right.
The reality is I probably won't have time to review it until Friday morning anyway, so we'll just leave it as it is.
Well, okay. So can we, fiscal policy document, once you've got a draft, complete, Lisa, it should probably go to Kelly and me for our input. I mean, we've already provided most of the input I think that's needed. And then should go to your committee,
I guess.
yeah, since it's a policy document.
Yeah, then it would go, I think we had previously discussed that after everybody incorporated their feedback, then we were gonna review, the finance committee was gonna review, and we were gonna accept or reject the suggestions, right, to finalize it, and then, once we finalized the initial version, then we'd send it to Dorianis and the policy committee for their review.
Exactly. Perfect. Let's do that.
What's the purpose of the policy committee review?
You guys are the ultimate deciders about policy.
Well,
Unless you think it,
we're trying to draw a line between policy and management.
yeah,
If you see what I mean, that it's really not, management issues really aren't the purview of the policy
I see what you're
committee.
saying.
Review of the bylaws and suggesting changes to the bylaws,
Yeah,
that's fine. We reviewed the student handbook, that's fine.
We reviewed.
From a policy perspective, not from a management perspective.
well, there are elements of the policy, the fiscal policy document that impact us, including bars and PO approval levels and that kind of thing. So it's a little muddy, but portions of it, and it may be overkill. What do you
Well,
think?
why don't send it to us, we'll take a look at it, and if we think it's none of our business, we'll
All
tell
right.
you.
I think that's
our concern is.
perfectly
that-
reasonable.
Our concern is that Karen and I take very seriously our assignment
And you
for
don't want too much.
looking
work.
at no, it's not about too much work. It's about being correct in the decisions and the feedback that we give. And we
Sure.
did that for the employee handbook and we did that for the student handbook. And we did find some things that we felt kind of strongly about and talked with
Yes.
Dorianis. But to then transfer to being informed and intelligent about giving the final word about complex financial documents, I don't know that I feel competent.
No,
At-
it's not it's not the financial document that you'll get, it's a whole bunch of policies.
Yeah, maybe your review would be a language review.
Maybe we need to have another conversation, not at the full board
Yeah.
meeting,
Sure.
about what our charge is.
Okay. Fair
And
enough.
also incorporate into that the difference between policies and procedures. because
Yes.
quite often
Sure,
they
fair
get
enough.
conflated.
Yeah, this is more of a, probably more of a procedure.
And we're trying to be helpful to Tina and Cheryl and, you know, the workings of the school that are guided by these documents as opposed to the legal level.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Makes a lot of sense, so thank you. The next item is item 14, committee reports. And let's just go through these quickly. The Governance and Policy Committee. Dorianis, are you on the?
Yes, I have a very brief report. Okay. The Governance and Policy Committee recommends that the GC approves both the Student Community Handbook and the Employee Handbook. The Student Community Handbook has undergone a round of content edits made by the head of school. The Employee Handbook was also reviewed with some comments that were made by Fred and Catherine. They each made a list of recommendations. We would like these recommendations to be considered and realized, but acknowledge that these do not hinder the GC's ability to approve the documents. The approval would be contingent upon these documents being dynamic and periodically updated through collaborative learning between the GC, school staff, and the community.
Very clear, thank you.
So do you need a motion
I
for
think that
acceptance?
was a motion.
Was that the motion? Dorianis, was that the
Was that a motion?
motion?
Or we could make a simple motion to accept the committee's recommendations.
I think we should
As stated
accept.
by, you wanna, I'm sorry?
Dorianis, did you put forward a motion?
That was not the motion. I think we could make a motion, like Steve mentioned, to accept the written report and then vote on past, vote on, accepting both of the handbooks.
Is that your motion, what you just articulated?
No, so I mean, they're listed as separate items, each handbook. So Carol, I'm
Oh, yes.
assuming we should vote on them separately.
Oh, that's a, yeah, you're
So
absolutely right.
Dorianis, why don't you make those motions and we'll vote?
Okay, so I will motion to accept the written report and to accept the student and community handbook, to adopt it as a policy.
I second it.
All in favor of approving the student community handbook? Say
Aye.
aye.
I,
All opposed? Okay. Carries unanimously. Carol?
so a second one now for the employee handbook, Dorianis.
I motion to approve the employee handbook and accept it as a policy.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
I,
All opposed, say nay. Carries unanimously. Carol?
Thank you.
Can I
And-
ask a clarifying question?
Yes.
With the motion, the report said periodically, is that gonna be defined?
annual.
Annual, just annually?
I think that makes a lot of
That's
sense.
what
Annual,
we talked about it.
yeah.
Okay.
Annual review.
Is that?
It's annual review, yeah. Carol, you might just note that the review cycle would be annual on these documents.
Okay, thank you.
Board Training and Retreat Committee, Ms. Perez.
So right now, we don't have much to report other than that we finalized a date for the board retreat, which is October 19th, Saturday. And we will be working on generating a tentative agenda for that day.
Perfect. And I talked to Sam today and I'm sorry, yeah, Sam, as in Samantha. And she said that she committed that both Dan and she would be at that retreat to do some training for us.
Okay.
Oh, very good.
Oh, I have a request, for the financial training, that somebody will be doing for the governance council. I'd like to request that, the, high level stuff that, I plan to do from NMPED, that be incorporated into that, since that's directly from the training we received.
So I'm not sure, are you asking that a PED representative be invited to present on that subject?
No, Carla had indicated that she asked Axiom to do training for us, and so what I'd like to request is that what I had started putting together, remember I pulled all that stuff together,
Right.
but specifically the high level stuff, the training, information that we received from NMPED be incorporated or be included in that, and not to.
Okay. How about you share that information with the committee? So they know specifically what content you're talking about?
And time needed.
And
Yeah,
time?
I wasn't aware. Yeah, I just saw in the email that they've been asked to do financial training, so I'm just.
Oh, no, absolutely. I think financial training is,
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I had started pulling together a bunch of stuff with the same intent, not realizing that somebody else had been asked to do it.
oh,
well, that's because she works with, Axiom works with charter schools throughout the district, and they've hired PED people. And I
Correct.
think
Yeah,
what we
no,
want to
I
do
just,
is,
we just have the,
Yeah.
I had pulled
yeah,
a bunch of stuff.
I see. That's
Finance
great.
from the training
I
we
would
received.
connect, great.
So
I would
I'll send
connect,
that out.
I would connect with, yes, and can include Katie in that, because she's the one who's going to be facilitating the training.
Yeah, I'll just send her the slide so she can just.
Lisa, can we just, can you have the conversation directly with the committee offline, outside of the board meeting? I think it's a wonderful suggestion.
I'm sorry, with which committee? There's a lot of committees.
The board training and retreat committee,
Dorian.
Dorianis. And Carla and Axiom. Great, thank you. Head of School Evaluation Committee, Fred, do you?
Kelly and I had an extensive conversation, and we've talked briefly with Carla, who's been really helpful. We also talked to some of the faculty and staff, and we're making good progress. And it's our intention to have a document that both describes the head of school role and responsibilities, so that it could be used for a variety of reasons, but certainly for evaluation, and to do that within the next month.
Terrific. Thank you. Next, standing committees don't require a vote, confirm member changes and additions from July meeting. Finance committee, there's no changes. Audit committee, Lisa, you wanted to update us on the audit committee. We're not hearing you. Are you muted? Looks like you might be. Lisa, are you muted?
Yes, I was sorry. So the update for the audit committee is, so there were some, I'm sorry, I had it all marked, but I ended up writing what
Is
I.
it Mr. Baum? Mr.
So
Baum?
basically, yeah, the action, basically, we had identified, additional people at our last governance council meeting, who needed to be included. One of the two people, I've spoken with both, and one of the two people, is able to join that's Chris Baum. And he requires a minimum of 1 week in advance notification from any meeting or meeting date and time change.
Is Chris a parent?
He's a former CFO.
So he's a parent. And how about the just community member who's not a parent? Do we have?
I spoke, he is not, he has a health issue, and is unable to serve at this time.
Okay, so we're looking for somebody in that capacity. Yes,
So we
Dave.
need to identify,
Hey,
correct?
let me suggest, Lisa, that you talk to Tina. Tina knows everybody in Santa Fe. So she'll be able to find
And
somebody.
Albuquerque.
And Albuquerque.
Clovis.
Yeah.
Well, I think the question that I have here is on here, it says Kelly's, is he the chair? If he's the chair, then,
Oh, how did that?
No, I remember, I don't think I can be a part of that committee. For the
because
conflict.
we need 2 board members based on
Yeah,
the
that's right.
statute.
That's you and me, Lisa,
Yeah,
and your chair.
Okay,
Very good. Thank you very much for that report.
well, that's one part of it. There's a second part in that we've scheduled meetings the second and fourth Fridays at 11 a.m. Starting on August 23rd. Today, there were some suggestions to swap.
You know, Lisa, the board doesn't need to know the details of the.
Okay,
committee
well,
meeting
I
schedule.
need a form that I can, other than email, that I can have a discussion, so that way we don't send a bunch of emails. So we can efficiently decide what the meeting times are gonna be.
Okay,
So maybe we could figure that out offline or something, but all I wanna do is save from having to go through.
I made a
20 emails to
suggestion
make a
that
simple
that
decision
for that
if we're gonna
particular
swap that or
day,
not.
I made a suggestion via email for that particular day to swap with Kimberly and Carla. Have, we meet at 10 for the audit committee and then do the finance at 11.
Oh, okay, it wasn't clear to me, it was just on the 23rd was the suggestion?
That's correct. That's
Okay.
what
I thought it was all of them, so that's why I wanted the clarification.
very good. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is a closed executive session to discuss limited personnel matters. And we will need, and let me just say that following that is public comments. Do we have public here that wants to make comments? Because I was gonna offer you guys if you want to just take off. Charlie, Helen, there's some names that I don't recognize. Anyway, we're gonna go into executive session. If anybody is still on the call and we come out of executive session, we will, move on to public comments.
if we're leaving this open, we're
Steve?
gonna conference call
There's
the
a-
board members online.
Steve, I have some clarification for you on that double payment from Axiom. It does indeed seem to be an error.
Okay.
And Lisa, since you do approve the purchases through Mineral Tree, that's your opportunity to question whether or not it's a duplicate or what the payment is for. So you are part of that process once Margaret
Yeah.
enters it, because you
Yeah, well,
have to.
that's why I was, I didn't have visibility into the budget or anything, and so I've tried to ask questions, but
Sure.
prior to a couple days ago, we didn't have any visibility into anything, so it's hard to.
Bye.
Excellent,
Have a
guys.
wonderful
Thank you.
evening.
All right, you too. Thanks.
So, quick question, so is somebody gonna call us for the closed executive session, or what's the?
So one of the board members needs to move and another board member needs to second, and then we will go into that session. And we will, at that point, we put everybody else into a waiting
We're
room.
gonna mute this, I think. and
Well,
then conference
no,
call.
we've got some remote people though, right? So I think they get moved into a waiting room.
Here's the problem. Let me just say this.
Yeah.
With Zoom executive session.
Yeah.
Is that you have no way to ensure confidentiality because you cannot tell who is in the room with people who are on Zoom.
Good point.
So you can put them in a waiting.
Oh, that's a good
You
point.
can mute them, but you can't control who's listening.
All right, well, we
to your
have,
executive session.
we have a quorum here physically present, so.
We do.
That
Well,
is,
but I think I think last time when they went into executive session, I think you guys called the cell phones of the people or
That's
something.
what I was just gonna suggest,
do
that,
that.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you and Dan call in on your cell phones, or call my cell phone.
who's Dan?
He's the attorney.
Actually,
legal counsel.
you should initiate it.
I should, that's a good
Oh,
point.
So you can add
That's a good point. Yeah, I'll do that. So I'll call you, Lisa.
I'm gonna nip out for a second
Oh, yeah.
while you're calling people.
Right, sounds good. Very good.
I'm
Okay,
I'm gonna sign off now.
sounds good, John.
Okay,
Thank you for
John.
joining us.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
So then we will mute.
Bye.
Okay, it looks like we lost Carol though.
Oh, well, we're still recording though. We can vote to
She
come
can-
back into,
She can get it off the record.
yeah, we can vote. I need a motion to come back into public session.
So moved.
Just a second.
Okay, so moved by Fred and seconded by Catherine. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any nays? None, so carries unanimously. All right, so the next item on the agenda is public comments. Is there any public left that wants to comment? Doesn't look like it. Final item before adjournment is open discussion of any additional topics from governing council members.
None.
None? All right, given that, I hereby adjourn the meeting. Thank you all.
Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Good
Lisa.
night, thank you.
Okay,
It's 7:31.
adjourned at 7:31. Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.